Hello and welcome to Heartland Cattle Call, your all-access pass to everything Limousin in the Heartland. Whether you're in the sale ring, the show ring, or out in the pastures, we've got you covered. Each episode, we bring you exclusive auction previews, market trends, and top-selling cattle straight from the sale ring. But that's not all. We'll also take you inside the biggest Heartland events, showcase top breeders and exhibitors, and break down the latest show results. From production sales to champion ribbons, we're talking with the people who make the industry thrive. Buyers, sellers, ranchers, and showmen who are shaping the future of Limousin cattle. So whether you're looking to invest in elite genetics, sharpen your showmanship skills, or just stay ahead in the business, you're in the right place. Get ready. It's time for Heartland Cattle Call.
Hello, Heartland members. We are back with another edition of the Heartland Cattle Call, your all-access pass to everything Limousin in the Heartland industry. And we are very excited tonight to have John and Warren Symens on of Symens Brothers Limousin. They have their annual sale coming up this Thursday, January 27th at 1 p.m. And that's going to be at their ranch at Amherst, South Dakota. And if you can't make it out in person, you can bid online on DV auction, or they've got sale numbers posted so everybody can call in so you don't have to be there in person and you won't miss out. John and Warren, I'm so excited to have y'all. If you don't mind, I'd love for y'all to start off by telling us kind of a little bit about your family and your ranch and your history and kind of how you got in the business, if you don't care.
Go ahead, John. You can start with the beginning.
Well, I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning, but we've been in the limousine business since 1970. We bred our first cows and started having private treaty sales a few years after that with some half-blood bulls, and grew into having auction sales in 1981 was our first auction. So we've had one every year since. This will be our 45th annual. And we just started by AI and commercial cows and breeding up from half-bloods and on up. And currently we're mostly into the purebred cattle. We've done a few Lim-Flex, used some Lim-Flex bulls, had percentage cattle, but we're mostly purebred at the current time.
What is it about the Limousin breed specifically that kind of drew you in and made that kind of your focus?
We always fed out all of our own cattle, and it was advertised as a carcass breed, so that's why we got in to start with. Plus, they were a red breed of cattle from France, and most of our cow herd was red based. We had three-way cross commercial cows, Red Angus, Hereford, and Shorthorn, and that's where we started from.
And you guys have definitely been out in a long time. And I know, John, you're kind of a little bit famous right now.
Oh, no.
I know you just got the honor from the National Western Stock Show. I believe it was 50 consecutive years that you have been at that show. Is that right?
Yeah, as close as I can remember, I've made them all. So
congratulations. That's quite an honor and an accomplishment, and definitely something to be proud of. And that kind of leads me a little bit into your catalog, because you guys brought home yet another banner, and you were the reserve grand champion Pen of Three Bulls. Right. And in looking at the catalog, I'm sure those three are getting a lot of attention. They're lots 1 through 3 leading off the catalog of this Thursday's sale. Can you guys talk a little bit about those three in particular?
Well, I think they emphasize what it is that we're looking to do in the breed. Keep the muscle, keep the shape, add the depth of body, add the carcass traits that are in demand right now, and just try and have a well-balanced animal that still emphasizes muscle and yield.
Well, they definitely have a lot of balance in them, and I'm sure you've been getting a lot of calls and a lot of feedback, and they're definitely something to keep an eye out. But you have quite the set of good looking bulls in this catalog. Is there any kind of that stand out other than those to you guys, or is it just something you go for as a cohesive unit in your operation that you put in your cell?
Well, I think one thing I've learned from John a long time ago is to try and mate the cows right and make sure you kind of match the cow to the bull, and try and not necessarily fix a problem, but try and emphasize where maybe a cow fails or a bull fails, try and mix those right and try and get a well-balanced calf out of it. So I think we, like those top three, I think the whole offering kind of shows that. We try and have a uniform set that keeps the wide tops and the thick hindquarters and the depth of body while trying to maintain fertility and structure and all of that.
Yeah, you've got a good looking group. Is it hard to kind of narrow down that selection for the sale, or do those kind of come up to the top and stand out? I know, Warren, you mentioned something regarding that earlier to me, specifically in when you're looking at what you place in the sale.
Yeah, I think John, maybe we're 10 heads short of what we have had in the past is, probably a sale average for head. We kind of called a little heavy. We want to make sure that what we're offering is going to work for people. We don't want to put something on the sale that we don't think should be, replicated. So we cut those lower performers, and the cream kind of rises to the top that way. So
We've always had the feedlot, so it's an easy way to go. And also some years you have a higher percentage of females or bulls born in that year, so that limits your numbers also.
Yeah, it feels like the last few years we've had more heifers than we have bulls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of can't predict and control Mother Nature, right?
Right.
You guys do a lot of testing on your bulls, and I know that that's one of the things that I think that probably your customers and everyone in the business admires about you. I believe I read in there you guys stand behind your bulls and guarantee those for a breeding year. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and so I think that that says a lot about you guys, and not just the quality of cattle that you produce, but the people you are in the family industry too, in that you do offer that guarantee. And I know that y'all have a lot of repeat customers that just keep coming back because they not only trust you, the cattle, but they trust you.
Yeah, we've always said, as much as we think we're in the cattle business, we're in the people business first. And the cattle will come, if you do all those things right, you'll be successful. But we have to make sure we're in the people business as well.
Yeah, and I think that's something that everyone kind of says. And I know I hadn't met you guys personally until this call, but I knew who you were because your name is kind of synonymous with quality people and quality cattle. So I think that just kind of goes to what you guys represent. And I know we talked about the bulls, and we'll come back to them, but can you tell us a little bit about those heifers that you're also offering up in this year's sale?
Yeah, they're selected out of the top 50% for sure, or better. And we want problem-free females going out, and so far we've had good reports back from past customers that they're producing well for them, and that's our goal. So and we select them on future production ability as well as phenotypically how they might look. Some people are looking more for something a little showier than others, but you have a variety of buyers. So main thing is our goal has always been to whatever we produce, have it to elevate and add to the beef business of the whole country's herd, as far as offer a piece of the puzzle that helps the beef industry.
And you guys also had a handful of, I believe, 2-year-old bulls in there too, right?
We've only
Yeah,
got 4 this year.
just 4, yep.
Yeah. Do y'all purposefully keep some of those back to sell as 2-year-olds and they sell each year? What's your kind of goal with doing so?
Well, we keep back the youngest bulls to start with, and then we go from there, and it's good to have a few extra for private treaty sales later. And also if there's a problem, we can replace something for our customers.
Yeah, the goal is to keep the customers' cows bred. So if something were to happen to one of those bulls that we guaranteed, at least we can help them out, get something in there to get their cows bred. So.
And would you say in all the years that you guys have been in the business and the trends you see in the limousine industry, have you kind of adjusted your goals on your operation towards that? Or do you think that's kind of just kind of goes with the nature of the business naturally?
Well, John mentioned that we've always had the feedlot here, and that we wanted to finish cattle out, and so that meant we needed to try and offer what the industry was demanding. And so that goes back to, he mentioned we had a few Lim-Flex over the years. Some of our bulls that are being offered are percentage bulls this year, but that's an effort to try and improve the carcass a little bit, try and have a little bit higher quality grades in the offspring of some of these bulls. And like I said, you don't want to lose what made Limousin. You got to keep the muscle in them too. So it's a balancing act to try and keep that and yet improve on the rest. But the fact that we've fed cattle for so long as well, we kind of knew where things needed to go that way.
Yeah, I think that you guys have probably it's obvious that you place the focus on not just the appearance and just looking at them, but the carcass, the meat quality, the muscle and the marbling, and kind of all those things that Limousin are known for as well.
Right.
With the DNA testing we've been doing for several years, we've changed some through the years. Several years ago, when we had contracts for heavily muscled cattle, we could trend toward that. And when that went away, we can add more marbling, for the purpose of giving our customers what they need and for the quality of the product we're producing. So with the DNA, that's helped us a lot to change.
Do you guys DNA test all your bulls and all your cattle too?
Yes, we parent verify and test for several different traits that we think are important.
Yeah, and that I'm sure that doing that across the board, that allows you to improve on your EPDs and all those traits that you really look for and kind of bring that together as a unit. Can we go back and can I have you guys talk a little bit about those National Western bulls that are lots 1 through 3 and tell everybody a little bit about those? Because I'm sure everybody wants to know.
Well, I guess first and foremost, they're backed up by a lot of years of breeding. So you look back through the cow lines, they're consistent cow lines that, they've stayed in the herd for a reason. We're fairly hard on the cows. I think if I do some rough cowboy math, probably 20% of the cows leave the herd every year and get replaced. And so if they're making their way to the top like that, it's because there's a background behind them. So I think that's the first thing to consider is the predictability behind them.
Yeah, and of those 20%, a high percentage of those are cows that have actually been here 10 years plus also.
Right. Yeah, we look at those older cows and make sure they're pulling their weight. And if they aren't pulling their weight, then they're below average cow, it's time. So yeah, I guess those top, if we look at those top 3, even top 4, top 8, there's a lot of difference maybe in performance from top to bottom on those, but predictability wise, there's probably not as much difference as it looks on paper when you get all said and done. So.
And the nice part about those this year, those top three, and we're all sired by bulls that we raised here and sold and used their semen back into our own herd. So.
Yeah, and throughout the catalog, even the hard rock and the knockout calves, they're scattered out throughout the catalog. I mean, there's
the easy goings
and easy goings. There's a lot of good bulls through there that their sires came through here. So.
Yeah, and I'd say that's very impressive. And I had somebody, you talked about your 20%, you would say you were placed in the cattle herd each year. I had somebody on one of the podcasts, I forget who it was, it might have been Glenn, said that it costs as much to feed a bad one as it does a good one.
Right.
And that is very true, very accurate, I would say. I know, do you guys have you've got a little bit of something for everyone in there. I think I saw some bulls that probably would be Cabanese bulls too.
Right. Yeah. Cabanese or higher performance or higher marbling or higher, they can be sorted through and tuned to whatever. I've had a customer calling me that has his specific EPDs that he trends to every year, and so he goes through those bulls. Then they ask questions about the bulls' maternal line, the mamas, and what they've been doing, and so forth. So.
And if someone has those specific traits and qualities and EPDs or kind of anything that they're kind of looking for when they're looking through that catalog, can they reach out to one of you guys and you can kind of point
Absolutely.
them in the right direction of what lots they might want to look at and think about?
For sure. We trust our buyers to look at that information and be able to comb through it themselves, but we always welcome questions. Sometimes they say, well, this is what it says, so what's the cow like? Or this is what it says, so what's he like? What's his attitude like? Or all those different kinds of questions. So yeah, we certainly welcome texts, emails, messages, phone calls.
So you guys said that you'll cover transportation up to, I believe, 400 miles for the sale.
Yeah, that's a basic amount, and we put the loads together so that we can make a trip with more than one or two head at a time, and get them distributed or find another means of transportation, another trucker or something to get them to them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in that business now, so that would get them a long ways.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your operation? I know it's a family business. Who all works at Symens Brothers?
Well, for now, I guess it's my cousin Brad, myself, John, and we have one hired man that's been there, Thad Jensen. Oh, what now, John? 11 years, 12 years? I'm not sure. 13 years. So he's pretty familiar with how we're doing things and what we do. And our hired help has always had the opportunity to have some cows of their own and sell some bulls that way too. So they stay pretty well invested in what's going on that way. But yeah, there's three of us doing the main day to day. John's still doing a lot of the marketing and that type of stuff. My oldest son Owen is just starting to work his way back. My dad Paul, he retired a few years back. He moved to town recently, but he still comes out and runs a hay rake, does a few things like that. So it's still family operation.
So y'all can still put him to work a little bit too, then.
Whatever he feels like doing.
Yeah, and I think that speaks a lot to y'all and who you guys are, and it truly is a family operation, and so I think that's kind of helps y'all, I would say, if I had to guess, in doing what you're doing and putting out the quality that you put out, because everyone's invested and everyone spent years in the business, specifically in your business, on your farm, and kind of knowing what it took to get there, what the goals are, and what you're looking to do as a family.
That's right.
And the sale is at 1 p.m. on Thursday, right? 1 sharp.
Correct.
1 o'clock. Come early for lunch and get through the cattle. We encourage everybody to walk through them and do more than just the videos that they've watched prior.
Right.
Well, I feel like if Charlie was here, he would want me to ask what you guys are serving for lunch today, on Thursday.
Hot beef combination.
All
And
right.
the local church here close by, they have a little fundraiser that we help out with, and they homemade pies. The pies are kind of a hit. I would hate to admit it, but there's people that come just for the pie. So that's kind of a running gag, I guess, that people come for the pie, and it's very good. So yeah, come and enjoy the day. Like John said, the bulls will all be penned up, easy to look at, easy to get through. Heifers too.
So everybody can come out ahead of time and visit with everybody and
Yep.
and look at what's in the catalog in person and eat some good beef lunch followed by some good pies.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
that's right.
All right. Well, I won't keep you guys, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to jump on here with me and visit with me and kind of tell me a little bit about yourself and tell the members of the Heartland about yourself. And I have one other question for John before he jumps off. What is it, John, that keeps you getting out there and doing this every day? And what drives you to keep doing what you do?
Well, I've just enjoyed it. If it's work, then it's not worth getting up to go out and do. But if when you're out there doing it, it's not work anymore. If you enjoy what you're doing and have a purpose for what you're doing, and try to do what I can without getting in the way of progression of the next generations.
Yeah, and I think that's very well said. And if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life, right?
There you
For
go.
anybody just getting started or thinking about getting out there in the limousine industry.
Yeah.
And we talked about it being a family, and that's the whole breed feels that way. Whenever we go to these shows or these sales and see people we've known forever, it's like getting together with old friends, even when you meet a new one in this breed. And we had a nice compliment in Denver this year. We've got a fellow that has come and clipped and fit for us, and he had some help come with him this year. And we kind of kidded her that maybe she needed to get a Limousin heifer or getting a Limousin breed. And they kind of chuckled, and he told her, he said, I guarantee you that if you were to get involved in this breed, they would welcome you with open arms and they would want you at every event you could be at. He said, sometimes you don't feel that across the country, but I guarantee you in this breed, that's how they'd be. So I thought that was a good compliment to all the breeders across country.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think that's 100% true. I know since I've joined the Heartland, I've been welcomed by everyone. And you're right. It does feel like an extended family. And you can't say that about every organization, but it's close knit and everybody supports each other. And I think we're all out here for the same goals, to support the industry, support the limousine breed, and support the juniors and youth. And we got to keep the next generation doing what you guys are doing, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, and yeah, we're excited to see where the Heartland goes as well. Excited for the future.
I am as well, and I appreciate that. And everyone get out to Symens Brothers Limousin at Amherst, South Dakota, Thursday, 1 p.m. for their annual sale, and you won't regret it. And if you can't be there in person, contact those sale numbers or hit up DV Auctions, and The Symens Brothers family will take care of you, and they won't steer you wrong on a good bull or heifer that they've got coming up. So don't miss out. And thank you guys once again.
Thanks for having us.
It even looks like we've got good weather predicted.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's just an added positive.
Yes, gonna be a nice day. Wear your